The Twins make a move at the deadline, but they lose game 2 in New York. We're breaking it all down next on the Locked On Twins POSTCAST.
You are Locked On Twins POSTCAST, part of Locked On Minnesota on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
What's up? What's up? Back in the lab, back at it. Another Minnesota Twins POSTCAST episode right here on the Locked On Sports Minnesota Network. Your team every day. You got myself, Luke Goodman, at Luke_Spinman. That's the man, Sweet Lou Hennessy, Twins expert over at Zone Coverage MN. He's on X at Sweet Lou MN. And Lou, before we jump into all the action from tonight, quick reminder, tonight's episode brought to us by Prize Picks, the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Go to prizepicks.com/LockedOnMLB. Use code, this is all lowercase, LockedOnMLB for a first deposit match up to $100. Okay, game 2 in the Big Apple, taking on the Mets. David Festa making his third start of the year. He was rock solid, all things considering. Chewed up 5 innings, just like Rocco hoped he would. 3 hits, 2 earned, 6 Ks. Twins kept them in striking distance, right? Festa kept them close. Problem was, Sean Manaea for the Mets was absolutely sensational, Lou. Twins could barely touch him all night. 7 innings, 11 Ks, 2 hits, no runs allowed. A top 8 was their best chance. They got a little bit of life after a Mets error and then a Brooksley walk. So you got 2 on, 1 out. Trevor Larnach, he flies out to center field. Then it was up to Byron Buxton. He strikes out on a nasty slider from Diaz. So the Twins leave 2 stranded, and that was pretty much their best shot all night. Twins lose game 2, 58-48 now on the year. Cleveland beats Detroit again, so now the lead grows to 6.5 games. I obviously want to talk about the trade deadline stuff and all that in segment 2, but first, just biggest takeaways, 8 topics, and then we can talk about David Festa next as well.
Yeah, it's unfortunately just another night where the offense just could not get anything really buzzing.
Yeah.
It begins and ends with the meat of the lineup. You're talking Byron Buxton, you're talking Royce Lewis, you're talking Jose Miranda. The 3 of them were 0 for 11 with 11 strikeouts and 10 strikeouts, I think. So that's
Brutal.
That's
I think the only 2 hits on the night came with Carlos Santana, 1 for 4, Brooks Lee, 1 for 2. Everybody else, 0 for the entire lineup. Yeah.
And Sean Manaea, he's a good pitcher. He's been around the league for a little while here. He came up with the Oakland A's as kind of a top prospect, and he's really established himself as a really tough lefty. And I think it was last year he was with the Giants, and they kind of pulled a bait and switch with the Twins, where they kind of started with somebody, or they started with him thinking he was going to be an opener. And so they put their B lineup out there, and then he ended up shoving then too. He's got great numbers against the Twins, and you can see why with his performance tonight.
Yeah, he was great. And again, his counterpart, David Festa's day, let's just talk him real quick. 5 innings, 3 hits, 2 earned, 6 Ks, 1 walk. All in all, pretty encouraging signs, just coming off his last outing or 2 in the bigs, right? Like, what'd you see from him tonight? What'd you like from his stuff? Anything that we can kind of build off of now?
Yeah, no, definitely something to build off of for him. 5 innings on 68 pitches. You will absolutely take that from David Festa as he, it's really hard because he came up and he had 2 outings that he was rolling for the first time through the lineup, and then he ran into trouble and couldn't get out of it. Then when he pitched last week with the opener before him, he got out of 2 really crucial jams, and he was able to kind of get back on track. And today he was really on track for most of the game, except for, honestly, that 1 pitch, that 1 home run, which was a changeup that he left. It wasn't even middle or anything like that. It was just caught a little too much of the plate, and it's something that, rookies got to learn the hard way sometimes. And hopefully it sticks, and he can continue to grow from the experience. But I was really encouraged with him, just the lack of hits from a really tough Mets lineup, and only 1 walk, I think, from him. So
yeah, only 1 walk, and after giving up 15 runs to this same exact lineup last night, shoot, you'll take that from the rookie all day. So you got Jose Miranda back in action, coming off that head contusion. He was 0 for 4. Where are we at with Carlos Correa? And really, I guess what I'm asking here is, like, with Miranda back in the lineup now, how comfortable, how confident are you in this lineup scoring enough runs kind of in the interim before they get Carlos Correa back? Because the past few nights, it's kind of been a tough pill to swallow. Just wondering why the lack of runs all of a sudden.
Yeah. It's Carlos Correa coming back is not going to lift them out of, this funk
Sure.
just on his own. It's going to take
Sure.
kind of a team-wide focus. Obviously, he would help a lot, especially
Mhm.
his numbers that he has with guys on base and just kind of the situational hitting that he's been prone to. But I think that he should be back relatively soon. I think he's been walking around with a little bit of an air cast or like a boot after he got that PRP injection in his heel to try to quell the kind of pain from that plantar fasciitis. So the boot is gone now. So he's out of that. And I think he's going to start progressing closer towards more conditioning and baseball activities. And he's not the kind of guy who takes too long on a rehab assignment if they do decide to go that route. Sometimes with guys like him, they decide to skip it altogether. So fingers crossed that he'll come back soon, but it's going to take more than just him to get things rolling.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. And again, Cleveland wins. So, the lead grows 6.5 games now. If the Twins don't make the playoffs this year, when we look back at this 2024 season, is the underlying theme going to be injuries and just not being able to keep everyone healthy together for a long string, a long sample size, or what? Like, if it's not that, if it's not injuries, what is it?
Yeah.
Cutting the payroll by 30 million or what do you put your finger on, I guess?
Yeah, it's hard to say because they're, in a pole position right now. But
Right.
you're right. If they do slip out of it, chances are it's due to health to some main contributors, I should say.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it could just be a matter of running out of gas. They're dealing with a lot of younger players as well as some guys, like we've said, that have an injury history. Obviously, we're talking about a hypothetical right here. Who knows what
Yeah,
happens?
right.
But
Yep.
we've seen that happen with teams before where, they're cruising for the first 4 months of the season. It gets to August, it gets to early September. They start running out of gas and they're a different team. Hopefully, that's not the case. And this streaky offense can be on the upswing when it matters most.
Yeah, a lot of ebbs and flows, man. And again, long season. It's a gauntlet. It's a grind, 162 games. But man, when they've been healthy, boy, they've shown flashes to be
Right.
really potent on
Right.
offense with the bats. All right, Rocco report time. So game 2 versus the Mets, the Rocco report, it says what?
I think it's really easy to criticize Rocco when he takes the starter out after only 68 pitches when they didn't really run into too much trouble there. I know that he gave up a little bit of contact, but I think a lot of people would be vouching for someone like Festa to, stick with him. It's, save the bullpen, roll with your young guy, show them you have confidence in it. I actually appreciate the fact that he came out when he did. I think Festa could be an interesting candidate if he's not in the rotation to be a kind of back end long reliever, and I think that they're going to want to make sure that his arm is fresh. They're he's coming up on his career high for innings pitched, so being smart with it. I don't think that they lost that game, obviously, because Festa came out in the 5th instead of the 6th or the 7th. Is because the bats didn't show up. But I'm okay with dealing with that if it's for an ultimate goal of maybe having him be one of those weapons in the bullpen like we saw from Varland or Paddock last year.
Right, and we'll talk a little bit more about that new bullpen. Plenty more deep dive. Plus, we got our nerdy stat of the day. That's all coming up right after this. Quick reminder, tonight's episode brought to you by eBay Motors. Passion, drive, patience, the formula for winning championships is also what keeps your ride or die alive. And eBay Motors, they got everything you need to maintain your vehicle and level it up to the ultimate peak performance. Superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, they got it all in whether the speed, power, or style. They got you covered with over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die. You'll always find exactly what you're looking for. And with eBay's Guaranteed Fit, your part guaranteed to fit your ride every time or your money back with all the parts you need at the prices you want. Easy to turn your car into the MVP and bring home that win. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. eBay's Guaranteed Fit only available to U.S. customers. Okay, trade deadline has come and gone. Drum roll, please. Minnesota Twins make a splash, and they add. Let me check my notes here. What's it say? Trevor, I can't even say it with a straight face, man. Trevor Richards. Lou, the fans hate it. They're outraged. They can't believe they didn't go make a big boy move and go get a stud. If I made you what would you say to talk them off the ledge and obviously tell us a little bit about this new pitcher and what he's going to bring to the table?
Yeah, it's a low wattage move, 100%. It's understandable to be disappointed. I think that sometimes fans go into the trade deadline with the expectation that, oh, if you don't do any moves, you're not trying, and you don't have confidence in your team. I'm not saying that can't be the case sometimes. I don't think that's what it was right here. I think it had more to do with the exorbitant prices that we've seen at the trade deadline the last couple of years. And, I think I hear people say like, well, at least show that you're trying, that you're actually trying to make an effort here. Go get somebody, go get something.
Yeah.
But when they did go out and get somebody or something that had injury concerns, it was Tyler Mahle a couple years ago, and we saw that turned south pretty quick. And then they got mad at the decision makers for going and trading for injured goods. So look, of course, I would love to see them make a trade. It's always so exciting, and I think they are in a position that if they did make a couple big additions, I would have loved to see it. But I think, just playing devil's advocate on their side here, I think the prices in prospect capital were super steep.
Well, in some ways, let's just credit the Twins for being totally transparent. Since like back in November, the message has really always been, whether we hate it or not, that they're not spending a lot of money this year. That was always the message from back in November. So at least there hasn't been any gaslighting or lying going on or anything like that. Like, this kind of matches up with everything that they've said to this point, right?
I guess so. I don't see that if there was a deal to be made for strictly a rental this year that was still going to be owed a few $1 million and it was going to make the team better. I think they still would have done that. I think they would have taken on that money. I don't think they would have taken on, years of control in the future with someone like, Chris Bassett or somebody who can trigger some of these kind of bigger deals. I can I can see that. It's not a decision that I like, but I can see their logic behind it. I don't get a sense that there was any sort of blocking because of financial reasons for a short-term rental.
That's good. That should make fans feel a little bit better.
I hope so.
Soften the blow for sure. And I'm assuming who they gave up was absolute peanuts too, right? Like, nothing to be worried on that front. Correct?
Yeah, I think Joe Harry was his name. He's an infielder, young guy. I think he slipped out of their top 50 coming into this year. So. Okay. Honestly, I don't think anybody is going to care too much about that.
Nobody's losing sleep tonight.
Sure, I think it's fair for people to say, really, Trevor Richards, this is the guy we got. He's got 4.5 ERA the last 3 years, each of the last 3 seasons. You kind of know what you're getting. It's a pretty low ceiling move for sure. So I could definitely understand some disappointment.
Well, can you say definitively that the bullpen is better today than it was yesterday? And kind of, when it comes to like the bullpen depth chart / power rankings, like, who is he an upgrade from, if anybody, I guess?
There's not many in this bullpen that he would be an upgrade from. It might be the guy that he's replacing, who is Josh Staumont, who got DFA'd for this transaction. Yeah. Staumont obviously started off with some pretty fortunate results in his first couple of months, where he didn't allow a single earned run, even though some of the underlying numbers said that there might be a little bit of regression coming. Then it all kind of hit him this month, and I think he's allowed 6 earned runs in his last 6 innings or something like that.
And no high leverage spots for him either, right? Like, he was never brought into any high pressure situations. Correct. He was low on the totem pole to begin with, right?
Yep. And Trevor Richards is going to take his place right at the bottom of that totem pole for the most part. Like I said, low wattage. He's somebody who's been extremely. He's had a rough go of it in July too, I should say, and I'll talk more about that with my nerdy stat. But it's a tough look.
And meanwhile, too, Cleveland. I mean, really, no matter what you seem to do, you just can't catch up to all season. They added Lane Thomas, an outfielder, pitcher Alex Cobb. So pretend like we know nothing about either of those two. Just exactly how much better did the Guardians just get today as well?
Yeah, so Alex Cobb, let's start there. He's a veteran starting pitcher. He's been around the league for a while. The Twins did have interest in him when he was a free agent a couple years ago. Okay. He was with the Giants. I think he's in year 2 of a 3-year deal, I want to say, with them. And he obviously got traded mid-year, or he got traded to the Guardians today. He has not pitched yet this season. He's been recovering from an injury, but it sounds like he's pretty close to returning, hence why they went out and got him for a depth move. He's not somebody that excites me, and he's not somebody that I wanted the Twins to go get. But I think a lot of folks were hoping for the Twins to go get a established starter who could eat some innings at the back end of the rotation. Now they get to see him do that for the Guardians. Lane Thomas, on the other hand, is a right-handed outfielder who absolutely mashes lefties. We kind of filling that Manny Margot role, and so I think he would be redundant with Margot, and I don't think that he is too much of an improvement. So I think that they're pretty comparable, and the Twins might have just said, you know what, we'll roll with Manny for right now.
Okay, and then more tough news, right? Brock Stewart back onto the IL. You talked about Stamon already. Of course, again, they had to move somebody after the trade, so he was kind of the likely casualty in that scenario. And then Alex Kirilloff was put on the 60-day IL as well. I mean, woof, dude. When you just see it all on paper stacked up, it's tough, man. Is the sky falling, or can the Twins weather this kind of storm? And also, too, which one of those moves or, IL things hurts the most, I guess?
Yeah, I think it really stinks that we've seen from Brock Stewart the past couple of games where he just clearly did not look quite there, because when he's on over the 40 innings that he's been a Twin, he's been so stellar. He's been such a buzzsaw. Yeah. And so it's tough to see him, but clearly he wasn't right yet. And maybe they'll try one more time to rest him up and get his shoulder right so that he can be his best self in September and hopefully October. I was hoping that move would facilitate, something bigger at the trade deadline here for, a reliever that could be more of a medium to high leverage.
Move the needle a little bit more. Yeah. Hey, glass half full though. Randy Dobnak.
Yeah,
is he
let's
back?
go.
He's back? Question mark. He's back. It's funny. I just brought him up like 2 weeks ago and want to know why we never hear about him as an option. So Randy Dobnak, Twins 2024 World Series Game 7 starter, right?
You said it, man. I write that down, baby. No, so he
play it back. I don't care. I'm confident. Yeah, go ahead, Randy.
There we go. Randy Dobnak, just a really fun guy to be around, or just a fun guy to follow. Great story. Love that he's stuck around, and he's really shoved for the Saints in the past couple of months, and he's really earned this promotion. He's refined some of his pitches. He's got a sinker that more resembles the stellar results he got with it upon his debut in 2019. That's been massive for him. His slider's a little bit deeper. He's becoming a smarter pitcher, it feels like, and I'm hoping that we can see some of these results carry over to MLB play, because he's been really good for the Saints at AAA for the last month and a half or so.
What a fun story that would just be if that unfolded and just unfolded the way I think people are hoping, but again, probably not holding their breath right now. You mentioned nerdy stat of the day. Give it to us, some sort of crazy stat or, fun analytic Twins related. What do you got for us tonight? Lay it on us.
Get to know the new guy, Trevor Richards, baby. We talked about Stamont running into some trouble in the last month or so, hence necessitating this move and his designation for assignment. Trevor Richards has been even worse in July so far. Over the last 2 weeks, at least, opponents are hitting .533. That leads all of Major League Baseball in the last 2 weeks. So we're getting him at a low point. Let's see if they can buy low and sell high on this guy. And
he's like a 2-pitch guy, right? That's a crazy stat, by the way. Absolutely insane. And I had heard his last 4 or 5 outings had been brutal, but kind of a 2-pitch guy, fastball, changeup, one of the better changeups when it's working in the MLB, correct?
100% his changeup. He throws it more than about anybody else in baseball. Sometimes that can be to his benefit, and he does a really good job locating it and getting some successful outings. Other times, guys are just sitting on it, and I think he's allowed 8 first pitch home runs over the last couple of years, which leads baseball as well. So Twins, they're going to have their work cut out for him if they expect him in high or medium leverage situations, but I don't think he's going to be there anytime soon.
Fair enough. Great nerdy stat per usual. Don't go anywhere. We got to preview Game 3 tomorrow with Pablo on the mound. That's all coming up right after this. Quick reminder, tonight's episode also brought to us by Prize Picks. Prize Picks, America's #1 fantasy sports app with more than 3 million members to date. And for me and my money, I swear by it, it's by far the easiest and most exciting way to get in on all the action while you watch your favorite sports and you watch your favorite players. So simple. All you got to do, you pick more or you pick less on 2 or more player stats, and you watch the winnings roll in. Baseball season, obviously in full swing. So whether it's strikeouts, RBIs, home runs, you name it, they got it. Take your pick on more or less and add them to your Prize Picks entry today. Plus, they now offer Apple Pay for quick and easy deposits into your account all season long. Download the Prize Picks app today. Use code, this is all lowercase, Locked On MLB for a first deposit match up to $100. Okay, game 3 tomorrow. Pablo on the mound. What's this matchup look like on paper? And when it comes to Pablo specifically, what's 1 or 2 things you're really hoping to see from him as he kind of continues to try to ramp things back up to that 2023 Pablo that we saw?
Yeah, he's looked good his last 6 times out. He's had 5 stellar starts in his last 6. So hopefully he's turned that corner and he can keep going. The Mets are going to be a huge task for him, and they're a team that he has historically had a lot of trouble against. In 12 appearances against the Mets in his career, he has a 5.54 ERA with just 64 strikeouts. So we're hoping that this new rejuvenated Pablo Lopez can come in full swing and slay the dragon that is the New York Mets.
Last one before we get out of here. Yesterday on last night's postcast with CJ Baumgartner, somebody in the comments was kind of calling out Brooks Lee, saying, Brooks Lee, man, he needs to go back down and work on some things. Has he been that bad? I know everybody remembers the red hot start, and tonight he went, 1 for 2 with the walk. Does he need to go back down to the minors, kind of clean things back up? Like, what happened? And is it just batting in the box in the lineup or defensively too? What do you see?
I think his underlying numbers, or I should say just, his OPS and just some of his results that he's got in the past few weeks have been lackluster. But, they talk about it on the broadcast a lot, that he makes so much contact. And now it's about finding a way to turn that contact into hits besides just, we know, or Brooks knows that he can hit all these pitches. He has the ability. He has some great bat to ball talent, but it's a matter of hitting it where they ain't. So I think that's something that rookies sometimes have a hard time learning. And I'm not sure that that's best learned at AAA. It might be. The most important thing for him is that he's getting everyday playing time, and he's going to get that right now until Carlos Correa comes back.
Yeah, great breakdown there. Always fun talking Twins with you. Twins do drop game 2 tonight, 2-0, 6.5 back from Cleveland now. Game 3 tomorrow. First pitch, 12:10. Again, Pablo Lopez on the mound for that one. Huge shout out to all the everydayers out there that always make us your first listen. Rest assured, we'll be back each and every game right here, breaking it all down. Quick reminder, got to go check out all of Lou's work on X at SweetLouMN, plus all the work he's always ripping it up over at ZoneCoverageMN.com as well. Haven't asked you in a while. Anything new up over at ZoneCoverageMN.com we can go check out?
I kind of had a little bit of a reflection last Friday on, we kept hearing, the Twins are not going to make any moves and it's all because of money. And I think that was a lot of speculation, not saying that there's not some sort of truth to that. But like I said before, I didn't see them taking on huge multi-year commitments, but I could have seen them spending a little bit if it made them better at this deadline. I think it was more a matter of the prospects. So I just kind of wrote about kind of the lose-lose situation that they were in with that understanding.
Love that. Not too late to go check that out. Again, that's up over at ZoneCoverageMN.com. And remember, like this video, subscribe to the channel. Help us get to 8,000 subscribers. That's always much, much appreciated. All right, that'll do it for us. Sweet Lou. I'm Luke Inman on X at Luke_Spinman. We'll see you next time. But until then, signing out.